Super League campaign, they've lost 3 of their first 5. Great atmosphere, lovely afternoon, balmy, perfect for fast-flowing rugby league, and I think, Steve-O, that's top of the menu.
Without a doubt, Eddie, I must agree with you, the fact that it's rather unusual, isn't it? There's always pressure in a derby match, especially this one, but the added pressure, and this man, Carl Kirkpatrick, hopefully will give them 10 metres back so we can get open play. Wigan, of course, sprinkled with youngsters, 4 players making their debut today. Saints will start favourites, that is for sure.
Red-hot favourites, St Helens. Paul Sculthorpe gets this ultimate local derby underway. Briscoe with the first touch. Here comes Craig Smith. And Smith really has stood up and been counted this year as injuries have decimated this Wigan Warriors sky.
Well, we spoke to Stuart Raper before the game, and he said that it was the time for the experienced players like Craig Smith, Terry Newton, and of course
Adrian Lamb.
Yeah, they've got to really stand up and be counted, and they need it, because they've got to guide the way. They've got to just make sure that these youngsters slowly but surely gain their confidence into it against the St Helens side, and especially Sean Long. They'll be looking to get that spark back. They've lost it this season.
The kick over the top, and that's a wicked bounce, and Gady Gardner was foxed completely by that, and Brian Carney was hunting the mistake. Let's take a look at the side. This is the Warriors lineup. It's a little bit unfamiliar in many places. Briscoe at full-back, Whittle on his debut, Aspinwall, Johnson, Carney, O'Loughlin and Lamb, the captain. The forwards, O'Connor, Newton, Smith, Bybee, Tickle and Mark Smith at loose forward. No Cassidy there, no Andy Farrell, of course. And on the bench for Wigan this lunchtime, Sculthorpe and youngsters Allen, Brown and Roberts. Coach Stuart Raper. St Helens in black today. Wellens at full-back. Gardner has come in onto the wing. Gleeson, Darren Smith. No new love. Albert, Sculthorpe and Long. He passed a late fitness test. Britt, Hyam, Ward. Joint the skipper, Stankiewicz and Hooper. And the bench, Stewart, Yonkers, Edmondson, and formerly with Wigan, Stuart Jones. Coach is Ian Milburn. Well, that's the reason why, really, St Helens are long odds-on favourites.
Well, you mentioned the word long, and that's a pretty high shot there by Terry O'Connor. Not seen by Carl Kirkpatrick, the official, but the big question, there was a...
Oh, it's a great ball to Darren Albert. And Briscoe stood up well, but he's still got the ball away to Hyam. Infield, it comes to Joint. That was touched, it's back to 6. And this is Long. Well, the referee did not wipe the tackle count down there.
Well, it's that new rule yet again, Eddie, that's going to confuse the players and the fans.
And the commentators.
I was just making the point that he went through a fitness test at Sean Long this morning. It was expected that Tommy Martin would be playing. How fit is he, though? Is he 100%?
Well, it's a tightening of the hamstring, that is all. Knock on against Ricky Bybee. Referee looked at both touch judges, got the nod off one of them. Bybee dropped the ball then at the play the ball. But Sean Long with tightening of the hamstring, and Ian Millwood did say that if he played today, he wouldn't be playing at Warrington on Monday. Well, we'll have to wait and see about that. There's the knock-on and mistake from Bybee.
Well, it's balanced things out, hasn't it? I felt sure that Saints should have got the extra set of 6. Oh, that's a risky pass from Sculthorpe.
And Long patted it on to Wellens, who did really well to hang on to the football.
Wigan, of course, will be wanting to just sneak a try if they can and keep St Helens out in the early. Oh, that's a bad pass.
It hasn't gone over the whitewash, though. Darren Albert keeps hold of the ball eventually for St Helens. It's Sculthorpe, and here comes Stankiewicz, saying after the semi-final, the first semi-final on Saturday, that they had to get back on the bike and on the horse pretty quickly, the Saints. That's what they're trying to do here. It's with Joint.
Wigan's defence doing well, they're scrambling back, they have to. Saints are really giving this ball plenty of air.
And here is Sculthorpe, and it comes wide to Gleeson, and Gleeson has got away from one, but he can't get away from the next, but he still keeps the movement going. This is Sculthorpe, that's a brilliant pass to Darren Albert. Great scrambling defence from the Wigan youngsters.
Wonderful play by Saints.
It's now with Ward, and Ward gets
sensational build-up, though. This has really set the scene for what should be a classic game. Full credit, though, to Wigan. They got back in numbers, and as Eddie has just mentioned, a wonderful tackle by Adrian Lamb, one of the smallest on the field. Pulled down one of the biggest and one of the most experienced, Darren Britt.
Well, the form book really does go out of the window on occasions like this. And here is Sean O'Loughlin.
Well, I made the point, Eddie, that Wigan will want to try to sneak a try early, just to add a little bit of confusion in the St. Helens minds. Remember, they've both lost 3 in the trot.
Adrian Lamb, captain of Wigan, in the continuing absence of Andrew Farrell, still a good couple of weeks away from returning to this side. O'Loughlin with the kick downfield, bounces straight into the breadbasket of Aidy Gardner, and Gardner now will try and launch the attack. It's a good chase down there by Danny Tickle.
It had to be as well, because it was a poor kick there by the standoff Sean O'Loughlin.
And Tickle again with an important challenge on Darren Albert. Quick play the ball, it's with Chris Joynt, the St Helens captain now, and O'Loughlin there. No, it wasn't, it was the number 18, Martin Aspinwall, with that tackle.
Forward
Rich, short ball.
Swinging arm, he's got him for the swinging arm.
No, he's got the forward pass first of all.
I think he's got him for the swinging arm, Eddie. It was forward by a mile, and then watch this, bang, Smith went straight into the face. He's going to give the penalty when it really should have been a scrum down. Well, very fortunate. Wigan fans not too impressed with that. Neither is that fella. Now there's a guy that caught him fair and square in the butt.
Well, Craig Smith and Jason Hooper used to be, there's Stuart Raper, they used to be teammates at St George Illawarra. No love lost there with that clatter from Craig Smith.
It's amazing how mates of years gone by must have a good swing at each other, but it's unfortunate for Wigan there. They've done well, they've had to scramble back. I reckon St Helens must have offloaded the ball more than 15 times already in this match. And there are the tactics from that fella, Ian Millwood, yet to gain the points. Will this fellow get the scoreboard ticking over?
Well, remarkably, St Helens have failed to win on their last 5 visits to this ground. The nearest was a 22-all draw at Easter time a couple of years ago. But this kick here from Paul Sculthorpe to get the scoreboard ticking over. Try at 5 goals against Leeds in the semi-final to no avail. 2 points here to get St Helens off and running at the JJB Stadium. The St Helens Barmy Army has travelled the short distance to Wigan in numbers. They know that this is a golden opportunity for their team to really crush the opposition. But as I say, derby games are funny old things.
It certainly are, and I must applaud both sets of fans. It is so unusual, isn't it, that you see the crowd backing their teams when they've had 3 losses.
Well, they say to the coaches of these two clubs traditionally, never mind cups, never mind grand finals, just beat, if you're a Wigan fan, just beat the Saints. If you're a Saints fan, just beat the Wiganers, and that will make our season. Mickey Hyam now, and he gets the ball away to Stankovic. Another big hit. Craig Smith leading the way, and Terry O'Connor. Hyam again.
Good work from the hooker there. Really is in a class of his own at the moment. In top form. His runs from dummy half creating all sorts of problems.
Wellens to Sculthorpe. Cut out pass wide to Gleeson, and a little gap open for Gleeson. He's got Albert, and he is collared, is Darren Albert. It was a great tackle by Mark Smith, but long with the kick out wide. Carney's not the tallest. Gardner has claimed it. Gardner, the ball flung back over the inside, and it's a Wigan man who's taken it out.
Well, they took the gamble.
Adrian Lamb bundled over the line by Joynt.
Good work. Really should have been put under a lot more pressure there by Brian Carney. And he will keep that ball back on the inside, and there you see it. Lamb got battled over the touchline.
So head and feet to St Helens at this scrum. They're 10 metres away from the Wigan try line.
Well, I don't think Wigan's been in the Saints half yet.
Let's go.
Long feeds. He finds Sculthorpe. They miss out Jason Hooper. This is Darren Albert. Takes them on the outside. Scores the first try, Albert. And young John Whittle was absolutely nowhere then. He and Millward, his men have a 6-point lead. Darren Albert's 4th try of the campaign. Poor old John Whittle, brought back from Orrell, was in no man's land here.
Beautiful pass from Sculthorpe. In and out. Superb play there by Darren Albert. But it all came about from this. They took the gamble, didn't they? Smith then back on the inside. Lamb gets it, they get battle, they get possession, and they come up with the first try. 2 long passes, but this one was superb. The man of steel misses out 2, in and out. Clever play by the winger. He stood up his opposite, John Whittle, with ease. And it just shows you the inexperience there.
Well, it's his 7th start in a row for Darren Albert, and he failed to score against Leeds in the past 2 weeks, but he's back on track now, Darren Albert. 27 years of age, the St Helens winger. And Sculthorpe here lining up another kick. They've come here to celebrate, and at the moment they're celebrating Darren Albert's try, the St Helens supporters. Sculthorpe with the kick then to improve matters. But he's pushed that wide, so it's 6-0.
Beautiful pass by that man, and you can see there the dummy runners coming through. It makes sure that Wigan just hesitate, but look at the in and out. He slipped, did Whittle, and it was brought about by wonderful piece of footwork.
Well, Darren Albert loves this ground, scored a hat-trick in the semi-final last season when St Helens got to the Challenge Cup final. And the wide open spaces at the JJB Stadium are absolutely perfect for him. Phil Clark was on duty with the Australian match live on Sky Sports earlier, the Roosters and the Broncos. This is just as good, Phil.
Yeah, we saw some quality down under, and we're seeing that exactly now. You know, teams practice defending in their training sessions, and I don't know if they practice defending in their own half and near to their own line for 10 minutes, which is more or less what Wigan have had to do. It's been all St Helens, and the way they've moved the ball around, not only does it cause Wigan to do a lot of running, but it also drains your energy sources so much that they're asking players to move out of position, and when they found the gaps, they've exploited them. Again, they've advanced 50-60 metres, big kick from long.
It is, and it's another test here for Whittle. Whittle has got Gleeson, he's got Albert. The ball has bounced, but it's tied up by Briscoe.
And they obviously feel St Helens.
Now they have the penalty.
And a relieving
then
penalty.
talk back to Carl Kirkpatrick.
Well, that's a sin, but they obviously feel that John Whittle is a problem in this Wigan outfit. We saw Darren Albert in and out, nice step, beat him, and they are going to pepper John Whittle all throughout this game with Saints, that is for sure. One thing I have been impressed with is the fact that St Helens over the last 3 games, Eddie, they've lacked that spark, but they're doing a lot of running from the dummy half position, especially from their hooker, Mickey Hyam. And that gets them on a forward row.
Wigan on a rare foray into the St Helens half of the field. That was a very difficult pass for Tickle to take, and he didn't.
Well, it had a big red cross on it, didn't it? That's the reason. Oh, that is a really setup. You know, when you take on the first line of defence and you just amble towards it, it's obvious that you're going to offload.
Look at that. Wigan haven't had the ball in the opposition half for a single minute yet.
Let's go.
It's been all St Helens, that's why they lead 6-0. And they're in possession again here with Sculthorpe. Long. Oh, that was a touch forward to Gleeson.
Certainly was. It's the second occasion they've got away with it.
Crowd going mad. This is Sculthorpe.
Well, I think that the touch judges now and the officials, they're so used to the fact, Eddie, that they're going to have a situation.
Knock on by Britt.
Just having the situation where they played so flat in attack, you can virtually call for a forward pass on nearly every occasion. That looked a bit dodgy. Now this is what the touch judge would have seen, and there was no real momentum. Remember that rule? because he was taken out. He was taken out.
He was actually running sideways, wasn't he, Long anyway? He wasn't moving forward. The Wigan are now, but they're still inside their own half. Here we go, let's take a look at the head-to-head in all meetings, and Wigan with 13 more victories. And here, they still shade it. And in Super League, remarkably, since 1996, Wigan have that 13-10 advantage, but St Helens have won 4 Super League titles to Wigan's 1 in the summer era.
Interference at the play of the ball. Now then, what can Wigan throw at them?
This is O'Connor.
First golden opportunity.
Yes, first time within 20 metres of the line. Bybee takes it on from Lamb's pass. A test here of the St Helens defence.
Then again, you see that short pass. Level.
Good ball wide. And they keep the movement going. This is Carney. Wigan encouraged by this. Smith almost through. Hauled down by Ward and Britt.
Didn't
looking for a
expect
penalty. Newton!
Is there?
Is he there or is he short?
The God is a steal.
Give it. Well, he was absolutely confident with his own judgment and that of his touch judge. And Newton has scored for Wigan. The first time that Wigan have threatened the St Helens line, and encouragingly enough for them, they breach it.
Who said the experienced players had to stand up and certainly be counted here. You can see the hesitation. There was 3 men there. He didn't expect that, Craig Smith, but the quick play of the ball went on the blind side. They were caught. First and second marker. They were hanging around. This guy wasn't. Yeah, on the line. It's sufficient. Good position by Carl Kirkpatrick. And just a little nod of approval there from Stuart Rayford.
Well, he knows the quality of this side, despite the fact that there are so many youngsters in it. But Newton is anything but a youngster. Mind you, he's not a veteran, although he is playing his 200th career appearance today and making his 100th start for the Wigan Warriors. He's 24 years of age. So Danny Tickle now. He's missed only 1 so far this year. Came to the club from Halifax. Wigan boy, though. Back to his roots. Scores a level. Wigan 6, St Helens 6. Never an easy ride in this match.
Well, you take your chances. And the experience there from Terry Newton caught the St Helens defence. Both the first and second marker went right away into the open side whilst Newton was scampering away on that blind side. Good thinking.
High hanging kick-off. St Helens looking for this. Long flick the ball back, got away with it.
Well, it's the right decision. Crowd don't like it, obviously. But they were very, very slow with Wigan there. It's amazing how many times you come up with a mistake only seconds after you've scored.
Mickey Hyam attacking them from dummy half. Mickey Hyam!
What a
He's over! What a reply! What a reply from the champions! It was a short kick-off that wreaked havoc in the Wigan defence. They got away with a possible knock-on, and Hyam from the next play the ball. The defence just melted, but credit Hyam for the scamper.
High kick from Sculthorpe. They really should have diffused this. They messed around, definitely went backwards from long. Crowd are booing, they're seeing it on the big screen like you are at home. I mentioned the fact that this guy was scampering away from dummy half, no doubt about it. Good positioning by the official yet again. He's in fine form. Sit back. This is going to be a classic.
Well, this could be anything, this match. Could be any number of points scored. I think we're in for a treat again. And Mickey Hyam, not a bad strike rate, is it? And the St Helens supporters delighted. They weren't a minute ago when Newton got over.
Boy, it's set the scene, hasn't it? They never let us down, these two sides.
They never. Well, no one in the Super League does these days, Steve. Look at last night.
Too true.
Tigers and leads. That was an absolute classic when you look back at it again.
Certainly was. I've got no nails and I don't bite them, so where did they go?
Sculthorpe from bang in front this time, and St Helens reinstate their 6-point lead. Clarkie, we're in for a cracker, aren't we?
I think we are, yeah. You know, everybody talks in rugby league about the 6, 7 and 13 being crucial positions in the game of rugby league nowadays, but I think even more days, the actual hooker, the guy who goes to dummy half. If you look like with the game we saw in the NRL, Craig Wing for the Roosters, devastating with his speed from there, and Mick Hyam too with his speed to get out of there. Anything Newton can do, I can do better.
So Wigan restart with a kick from Danny Tickle, deep, and Sculthorpe underneath it. And here comes Mark Edmondson, who's just on. He was a sub last week also. His full debut, by the way, came against Wigan at Central Park in a 14-12 win, Good Friday in '99, Mark Edmondson. I remember that day when he made his debut, and we thought then that Saints would be on the end of a heavy defeat because they had plenty of youngsters. Same being said here about Wigan.
Wigan down at 12, there's an injured player.
This is Darren Smith. Darren Smith gets the ball in field to that man Edmondson. He tried to find Sculthorpe, and Sculthorpe couldn't take the pass in. It's Adrian Lamb, critically and crucially for Wigan. What a blow it would be if he went off.
This is the injury. Oh, and that looks like the wrist. Or did he get a stray head? I'm not right sure, but it appeared to me maybe it was his own player. Joint ducked underneath the would-be tackle. Maybe just collided heads with one of his own players.
Tell you what, they're in the wars this year, Wigan.
Sure are. And
Stuart Raper is very anxious here. If Adrian Lamb had to go off.
Well, he was expecting the skipper to really stand up today. And that's what he's doing now, but somewhat groggily. They were pretty fortunate, Wigan, to keep Saints out. They're rampant at the moment.
It's his 35th consecutive appearance here. Adrian Lamb, he won't want to go off. He won't want to miss the cut and thrust of the match against St Helens. Ricky Bybee has left the field. He's gone down the tunnel. So don't tell me there's another problem. This, meanwhile, is Martin Aspinwall.
Thinking about it.
It was Bybee, by the way, who clashed heads or hit Adrian Lamb somewhere on his body.
Yep.
And that's why Bybee's gone off. So Lamb survives. Bybee goes off for the time being. This is O'Connor now.
Double whammy. Good run from the prop forward. Must say that Saints are holding Wigan down a little bit. Wigan have to be a little bit quicker at this play of the ball.
Here's Johnston, and Helens caught offside.
Good refereeing there by Kirkpatrick. He allowed the advantage. None of them made it back to the 10. Not one on this side. And that's good from the official.
They're just debating here, Wigan, what to do. And Adrian Lamb has decided, as the captain, they'll go for territory.
What a great kick as well.
4-1 in their favour, the penalty count. It's a terrific kick because Wigan now are 5 metres away.
Good option as well.
This is Mark Smith.
Haven't had many opportunities, and it's a good idea to make sure that you keep possession, get the feel of it.
Lamb, it goes wide to O'Loughlin. That's a good ball to Danny Tickle.
Good approach work as well. Nice inside pass. They're pretty confident, Wigan.
It's with Craig Smith now. Flick pass and good hands. Great hunting down, though, by Darren Albert. There was nowhere then for Mark Smith to get to. Newton dummy half. O'Loughlin with a kick into the corner behind Eddie Gardner. Eddie Gardner collects it, but is then trundled out over the dead ball line. Drop out underneath the sticks. Good chase by Irish international Brian Carney.
Just got a brief shot of Kieran Cunningham there, but good work, good kick, good pressure. Came from the field of play. No chance of it defusing the bomb. It was a good chase from this fella.
4th in a row. Back in the side, Brian Carney, 8 times an Irish international.
Let's go, Sean.
Here is Carney again, the man who created this opportunity for Wigan. Remarkable when you think of the men out: Radlinski, Dallas, Cassidy, Farrell, Hodgson, Wild, Robinson, Hock and Ainscough. How about that for a team sitting on the sideline? Here is O'Connor though, one of their best. Newton at dummy half, Lamb, the schemer. It comes wide to Mark Smith, beautiful ball to Johnson. Stankovic has missed it.
Neat angle run there as well. Good work from Johnson.
Lamb delaying, that bounced off a leg. Mickey Hyam is after this. Mickey Hyam and Sean O'Loughlin, and Hyam wins the race.
Did well there. A lot of youngsters would have gone for the kick.
Wellens on the charge now. Wigan are on the back foot all of a sudden.
Pretty high shots as well, but good support play. Got away with it. Adrian Lamb all over the would-be player of the ball.
Darren Britt.
Look forward too.
So say 10,000 Wiganers.
Touch judge didn't.
Joint, they're going down the short side. This is Jason Hooper. Darren Smith, the dummy half. Here is Long. Now Sculthorpe. And Sculthorpe taking them on. Hyam. Long again. A dab through, looking for Stankovic. Well cleaned up by Briscoe.
Put his body on the line. So confident. Good play from the youngster there.
Quick play the ball by Wigan. Johnson tips it inside. Mark Roberts that was, who's just on. Newton, O'Loughlin, it goes wide again.
Well, they may be sprinkled with youth on this Wigan outfit, but they've got plenty of confidence. They want to take it to them. That was excellent play from the fullback, Sean Briscoe.
Here's Adrian Lamb again with the big kick downfield. That will bounce in front of Darren Albert.
A little bit slow coming forward there.
Let's get news of Ricky Bybee. Bill.
Well, Ricky Bybee's gone straight to the Wigan dressing room. He's got a cut on the top of his head as a result of that collision with Adrian Lamb, and I think he might be getting stitched up at the moment. I have to tell you, Eddie, when Bybee came off, Mark Roberts came on for the Wigan Warriors, and you could see Darren Britt, the Saints' weather-beaten prop forward, looking and thinking, crikey, am I in a junior game here?
Stankovic does well, gets the ball away under pressure from Craig Smith. St Helens keeping this movement going with Hooper, but well, the Wigan youngsters, they are doing well. They're acquitting themselves. They've got plenty of youth and inexperience out there, but they are scrapping for their lives. And Long with the kick again. Well, he took it well, did John Whittle.
It's on the card, we knew it. And he was confident taking it. It was all at sea on the last one. He knows he's going to have plenty of work today.
Well, John Whittle has been plying his trade with Wigan's sister club in the other code, Orrell. And the call went out to Orrell for reinforcements, and Whittle was here with the Wigan Warriors until the start of this season. And Whittle, to his credit, put his hand up and said, well, I'll come and try and do my best for the cause, and that's exactly what he's doing here this lunchtime.
Well, Wigan have this guy playing the ball on the field of play, Terry Newton. They know they're still in with a great chance. That's a poor kick, though, right down the throat of the fullback.
Wellens for St Helens to relaunch another attack, and he's away from two, and he's got support there from Gardner, who is quick, and Gardner struck down by Carney, but it's with Smith, and here they come again now, the Saints, and this is Jason Hooper, who will go all the way. That is a breathtaking try. That is St Helens from start to finish. Wellens began it, Hooper finished it, and I wonder whether that will be the try that will break the Wigan heart.
Well, it wasn't the best kick from Adrian Lamb right down the throat, but it was the chase that was poor. You cannot allow a player to run past the one line of defence like that. Excellent play by Gardner, back on the inside. Smith did well. Hooper knew that he had the legs. Oh, that is a wonderful, wonderful try. They're past masters of it. They attack from deep within their own half. Here's the kick. It was poor, but look how slow the chase is. It's pretty hot out there. And when you hesitate, Beautiful play here, though, isn't it? Look at that from Garner. He got himself right in the proper position. Cool, calm and collected. Drew his opposite fullback. And Hooper, he'll be happy. And I think you can gather from that St. Helens and Ian Millwood are back on track.
Well, they were disconsolate last Saturday evening when they were knocked off the Cardiff trail, but they are the champions of the Super League, and it's now blinkers on, and Old Trafford is the aim for Paul Sculthorpe and company. He adds the extras, 18 points to 6. I wonder, Steve-O, if one or two heads went down when that long-range try was scored by St. Helens amongst the men in cherry and white.
Well, not so much the heads going down, Eddie. I think it's the energy level, because they've had to do so much defending in the first quarter of this match that you could see that they were just ambling down following that kick. Not the best, as I said, from Lamb, but they allowed Wellens the chance. He ran past 3 would-be defenders. You can't afford it. You're always going to find yourself with an overlap.
Sculthorpe collects the kick-off. Here is Stuart Jones.
Ooh, big hit there by Newton. Not so sure it was legal.
Stuart Jones, I wonder whether he will come back today to haunt Wigan. He was released by the Warriors the end of last year, and Ian Millwood snapped him up, and he has looked a real prospect. He's only 21 years of age. Here's Mickey Hyam. Sculthorpe picked it up and spun away from trouble. And his brother there, Danny, number 16. Danny Sculthorpe on Paul Sculthorpe.
It's a guy that's just passed the ball that's creating so many problems.
Good kick from long. Great kick from long. Wellens is after it. Briscoe's there. And Briscoe's trapped in goal. Another set of 6 coming up for Saints.
They're out on their feet, Wigan. Phil, you're down there. You can feel the atmosphere. Do you feel that the tension and the pressure on these youngsters at Wigan is beginning to tell?
Well, it's hard enough playing, isn't it, when you're just coming into the game, but to play against the Saints, who during this religious time of year maybe get some help from above, because the things they try are absolutely miraculous. And that try that Jason Hooper scored, he was awarded 4 points. You'd almost think they deserve 8, wasn't it? The play behind it. You mentioned about the kick not being the best from Adrian Lamb, and Wellens getting himself well under it, but not every team in Super League looks to attack on that first play. Good play from Eddie Gardner to get himself back into position to benefit from Wellens' space, and they went on from there to make it 6.
And they're back on the attack again here with Yonkers. And Yonkers flicks the pass inside and finds Jones, who finds Edmondson.
Falling off the tackles now, Wigan, very slow.
Knock on by Hyam.
Well, Hyam wasn't so sure, but I think it was just a little roll forward. He was on his way, he was going to scamper through. Well, I can't see where the knock-on came.
It came off the heel.
It came off the heel,
of the Wigan man.
There it is. He picked it up. That was wonderful work there from the hooker.
I think it was Danny Sculthorpe who got in the way. And, well, he wants to win everything now from here on in, Ian Millwood.
Well, it was interesting to note there, Eddie, when they'd gone through, played the quick play the ball, the Wigan players are slow getting back into the first position, never mind the second in the marker.
Carney does well. He's lost the boot in the process.
Well, Stuart Raper, the Wigan coach, will be looking to get to his charges at half-time. If we can just keep St. Helens out, can regroup.
Oh, Sculthorpe taking the chance. It came off for him. Lamb, tackled by Gleeson. It's the last one. Here's Newton. Now O'Loughlin, good kick over, but it was a big collision with Yonkers.
Taken out. Yonkers got him. And he's going to have a word with him.
The referee has taken a dim view of this, but I think, to be fair to Yonkers, he was totally committed.
Well, he just went to try to stop.
How could he possibly pull out of that?
Well, that is... I mean, the man wasn't even running forward. He'd committed.
He led with the forearm, to be fair. Having seen it again, maybe Mr. Kirkpatrick did get it right.
It's not softball, this, Eddie.
No, but you don't lead with the forearm, Stephen.
Well, if that was the case, we'd be blowing up every minute. Every forward worth his salt leads with the forearm. Watch.
I can't fathom you at times, because you have a right go at players when they do that, and then when they do it in this, you say it's acceptable.
Yeah, but there was nothing in that. Dearie me.
Still led with the forearm. That's why we're going to have this opportunity. And this is Tickle.
And what about that? Did he lead? What did he lead with? His backside? No, his forearm.
Adrian Lamb.
Saints are struggling now to try to keep Wigan out. They've got to test their arm, Wigan.
Lachlan, good little kick in. Oh, Lachlan it was. And this is Darren Albert. And this is another priceless gift that Wigan have got in young Sean O'Loughlin.
He's confident too. That's good
this
play.
time, Whittle doing well. Stuart Raper's on the move. From his lofty perch, down he goes.
Well, he knew it was always going to be a problem against a virtually full-strength side in St. Helens, but as Eddie has just mentioned, that youngster there got a great future. Great to see so many youngsters coming to the fore. We saw Maguire last night.
Yes, there's a lot of green shoots on the vine of the academy.
It'll be a nice drop as well when it matures.
Lamb, and here is Sculthorpe.
Let's hope we can get a full case of it before the Aussies arrive.
Lamb again to O'Connor. Hauled down by Hyam and Sculthorpe.
Leading the way, that's what they needed.
This is Mark Smith. Wide it goes, and that's a good run from Kevin Brown. I'm sorry, it was Mark Roberts. This is Briscoe. Oh, it does well. Going wide and further wide. And back on the inside. This is going to be a great Wigan try from Tickle. Did he drop that? Did he drop it? No. The referee, Carl Kirkpatrick, decides not to hand it on to the video referee. I thought there might have been a little bobble, but that was a fabulous try. No problem at all.
No problem there. And good footwork as well. Hanging back. It was this pass here. Lovely stuff there from the standoff. Flicked it back on the inside. It was Tickle that started that little shimmy and then the flick on, and he was back there on the inside. This is an excellent try. But this is where it all came from. They thought they had him wrapped up. He went for the second effort, got away with it. Tickle with just a tickle. Back inside, and boy, is he laughing. Just what the doctor ordered, just before half-time. Well, spirits are high. Game on.
Danny Tickle's try. And Tickle, the man now to try and improve matters. England Day international. When he was at Halifax, he had 42 appearances, scored almost 225 points for them. And the Wigan mascot, the Warrior, I wouldn't like him on my side. He's got a smile on his face.
Got a Gioconda all over it.
Mighty Max is his name.
Mighty Max Gioconda. Giggle, giggle, never mind tickle. This man's got the giggle.
Here then is Tickle, and he will be giggling if he gets this. Flags go up, 2 more points to Wigan. 12-18, the champions still ahead, but Wigan are hanging on in there.
And what a time to come up with a try. They were looking a little bit subdued, were the Wigan fans, but that has brought them to life.
Good to see so many of them here as well, Steve-O, with this young side, and many people giving them no chance against the old enemy. But this is the very time when the Wigan supporters must come out and support this club.
Too true. Far too many years they've relied on imports. Let youth have its head.
Carney, bag of tricks. 2 minutes to the break. Lamb.
This is where a good kick and chase is really important, and Stuart Raper knows it as well.
Mark Smith.
They need to be in a good position now. Force Saints back into their own quarter.
Lamb, there's the kick again, this time into open space. Darren Albert will collect it for St Helens.
Much better, that chase. Obviously Raper has got the message out. Don't hang around, get in.
Paul Johnson was leading the way.
They're not doing bad for so many kids out there.
They aren't. Yonkers. And they're completing their sets of 6, Wigan, aren't they?
Well, both sides are doing okay in that department. I think Wigan will be quite happy at half-time. Be only 6 points in arrears, the way that Saints have cut them up early in this match. And again, the crowd shout for a 50-50 ball that could have been given as a forward. It's a high kick.
It is on Whittle, but there's nobody there to put him under pressure. Oh, he's put himself under pressure. Oh, and Albert scores. The referee hasn't given it yet.
He wants to see if he's onside. Enormous kick. Well, no one had to tell John Whittle that he was going to be in for a busy afternoon. And they look all right from that angle. He was way out here. Yeah, he's onside.
He's a mile offside.
Well, I don't know why they're having to have a look.
Well, he was just concerned.
Well, he's way behind the 20-metre line. He hasn't even got over it yet, and it's leaving the boot of Sculthorpe. But a bad error, the second one from John Whittle. Who would be a winger these days?
Well, Whittle was under no pressure.
He slipped yet again. That's the second time. Remember, when Albert stood him up, nothing wrong with the put down. Maybe he has a problem, John Whittle, with his studs. Is he wearing short studs?
Well, you might do on a day like this, although they do water the pitch here at Wigan. The try is given. Albert gets his second, and I don't think he will score an easier try than that all season.
Fair credit to him, Millwood. Obviously realised that it would be a problem on this left wing for Wigan. The thing about it is he got himself into a good position, but the slip here, that's what put him off. A gift. And the Easter egg gains 4 points.
Sculthorpe then with this kick on the touchline. This, I think, will see us to half-time. And Wigan, St Helens rather looking for a 12-point advantage at the break. A difficult kick, though. And he's missed it. So the gap at half-time is going to be 10 points. There's the half-time hooter. Darren Albert, 2 tries. Hyen and Hooper. There's the 2-try man. But the Wigan supporters will be encouraged by the performance of their team. Newton and Tickle with the tries, and Tickle with a couple of goals. But it's the travelling army of St Helens fans who know their men have a 10-point lead at the break. This is probably the pick of the tries. Wonderful pass from Gardner. And St Helens just ahead at half-time.
Premiership Plus double with Scottish Life. Today, live at 2:30, it's Spurs Man City. Sky Sports subscribers can order this game now for just £5. See Channel 433 or call 08705 160 160. Then, Bank Holiday Monday live from 2:30, Chelsea-Everton. Sky Sports subscribers can also order this game now for just £5. See Channel 433 or call 08705 160 160. Premiership Plus on Sky Box Office.
Need a hand, mate?
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Then join the AA.
Why didn't I join the AA? I thought I'd save them money. I wanted to buy these jeans.
You can join the AA from as little as £39, about the price of those jeans. And they fix around 8 out of 10 cars at the roadside. Call 0800 444 999. Just ask.
I was headhunted again last week.
Well, I've definitely been earmarked for the board.
In fact, I've quadrupled my turnover inside 5 years.
Can I give anyone a lift?
So, what did you say you did?
I didn't.
If you're angry, don't hold back. If it makes someone happy, just say it. Every time should be a better time. See what you can do. O2.
Grand Canyon, crack in the ground, very old. Hoover Dam, big wall, lots of water. Las Vegas, there it goes. And that's lunchtime.
Got the urge for a new Burger King Tex-Mex Whopper with pepper jack cheese, jalapeno peppers, and barbecue salsa for only $1.99? Got the urge? Get to Burger King.
He was a legend. Terry Dodd, a humble tyre fitter, became the primo tyre changer on the Grand Prix circuit. Inventor of the turbo tyre tightener, he had fame and fortune at his feet.
Lock and load.
But it all went the way of the pair when Tell tested positive for a substance known to stimulate body and mind, Boost Guarana. Disgraced, he now scratches a meagre existence at Splish and Splosh World. Stimulating Boost with Guarana. Without it, you're nothing.
Well, what a lineup of live sport we have for you today. Here on Sky Sports 1 at 2:45, we've live rugby union Sale against Gloucester. At 5 o'clock, there's a double bill of Football League as Ipswich take on Portsmouth, followed by Reading against Nottingham Forest. Over on Sky Sports 2 now, live Eurotour golf from the Portuguese Open. And from 9, we've live golf from the United States, day 2 of the Heritage. And on Sky Sports Extra now, it's live ATP Masters Series Tennis from Monte Carlo. Fantastic stuff. And, well, it began earlier on today with the Super 12s live, followed by Australian Rugby League live, and now the Super League live. What a fantastic day for Sky Sports viewers, and it's 22-12 to the Saints, the champions of the Super League, at half-time. Well, the Wigan Warriors looked out on their feet towards the end of that first half, and poor old John Whittle just couldn't keep his feet, couldn't keep the ball, and gifted St Helens another 4 points. Saints provided the last opposition at Central Park in September 1999. They lost on that day, but, you know, then they went on to win their first 2 encounters here. And although, as we saw during the course of the first half, they do hold sway in terms of matches won and lost in league football since 1973, St Helens do have 4 Super League titles to Wigan's 1 this year, and they're champions, and Steve-O, they are defending and playing like champions this lunchtime.
Yeah, they certainly were, and I must say that Ian Millwood made it quite clear to his players that he wanted to get back that spark. Well, they certainly had it, didn't they? The opening 10 minutes was absolutely fantastic. It didn't surprise me that they put the first points on the board. And as Eddie has mentioned, they were always going to pepper and go to this side, the left wing, which is Whittle. There you see, he slips there. Good in and out, though, by Albert. And I think a lot of the Wigan fans thought, uh-oh, we're in for a bit of a drubbing here. But full credit to Wigan, sprinkled with a lot of youth today. And they got the position. And it was Newton that went on the blind side. They were very slow. You could see there the first and second marker going the same way. Newton, all the experience, taking the full advantage. Well, from the short kick-off, it's amazing. I keep saying it, but once the team has scored a try, it's amazing how they just relaxed. They relaxed there, long flicked it back, and from dummy half, what a game this guy's having. What a player, Mickey Hyam. Speed, strength, and the ability to reach out. And then Wellens, poor kick from Lamb. Look at this. The chase is slow. 1, 2, 3 players, and he sucks in the fourth, offload. There was always going to be trouble, but what a try. Gardner, Smith playing in the centres today, back on the inside. Hooper, a man who tirelessly gets through his work. A lot of people say he's not a star, but his workload is superb. And it was wonderful, wonderful support play. And then Wigan wouldn't go down. This youngster, O'Loughlin, beautiful pass, sucked into 2. Now watch the skill of Tickle here. Little Tickle on, back on the inside. And he was laughing all the way to 4 points. And yet again, just a lack of concentration allowed Saints to pile back when really Wigan should have been trying to close it down. A slip yet again from Whittle. And Albert makes sure that Saints go in with a commanding lead. It's pretty difficult for a coach like Stuart Raper to think, well, maybe 2 errors by Whittle on the wing, that he could be looking perhaps to replace him. But he hasn't got any much experience to put out there.
No, he's a little bit shorn of his experience because of all the injury problems they have at Wigan. It's been well documented. But, you know, Phil Clark, who's watching on the sideline, there's plenty of hope. When you see the youngsters in the Wigan jersey, there are some stars of the future here.
Eddie, there's only one thing more painful than learning from experience, and that's not learning from experience. John Whittle, like any other player who's played this game, has made some mistakes, but he has to bounce back from those. He's had the half time, he's got the support of his teammates behind him, and I think it's important with the try we saw from Wigan, really where they moved the ball one side of the field to the other, demonstrated the willingness to attack. If they're to get back at St Helens, they must keep the ball alive inside the Saints half. The problem's been they've not spent quite enough time there. Been excellent play from Saints in starving them from time in their own half, and when the Saints get on a roll, they're very, very hard to play against. The try that Wigan conceded just before half-time could send them in with their heads down, but it's the job of Stuart Raper and Adrian Lamb to lift them for the second half.
And I'm sure they will do their best to do exactly that. Thanks a lot, Phil. Well, this match here will, as always, produce a man-of-the-match performance, and the man of the match will go home with the watch. There's the prize that man of the match, or men of the matches, go home with on our live Sky Sports games. And I hope that if you're watching this at home, it's maybe giving you a little inspiration to get out and about this later on today, this Good Friday, and take in another match. Well, there are some great games knocking around. At Warrington, they kick off at 3 for the visit of the Wakefield Wildcats, a 3 o'clock start also. Not far away at Widnes for the visit of the London Broncos. And then tonight, across the other side of the hill, Bradford Bulls against Hull is a 7:30 start at the Odsal Stadium, and Halifax against Huddersfield is a 7:45 start at the Shea. We'll have all the highlights for you available on Sky Sports News this evening from 9 o'clock. That's Sky Digital Channel 408. Fabulous Easter on Sky Sports for Rugby League. A game and a half we have had so far, a classic last night, and who knows, we could see bags of points in this second 40 here at the JJB Stadium. We shall see. Wigan trailed by 10.
He was a legend. Terry Dodd, a humble tyre fitter, became the primo tyre changer on the Grand Prix circuit. Inventor of the turbo tyre tightener, he had fame and fortune at his feet.
Lock and load.
But it all went the way of the pair when Tell tested positive for a substance known to stimulate body and mind. Boost Guarana. Disgraced, he now scratches a meagre existence at Splish and Splosh World. Stimulate and boost with Guarana. Without it, you're nothing.
To prove this person is not an actress, she will attempt a scene from a famous movie.
I'm terrified. It's really scary out.
Oh, boy. So, tell us about BT Broadband.
I've been designing a bathroom and I've got onto a couple of websites where you can actually design your bathroom online. So you need to be able to move things around, move from page to page. So obviously that's better because I can do that quicker.
Broadband your horizons. To connect for free, call 0800 800 060.
You look. You stare. You hold your breath. Your pulse races. Is it the clarity? Is it the performance? Is it the sleek design? Flat panel television by Samsung. It's digital temptation, and everyone's invited.
Good evening. Good evening. The owls are lively tonight. Are they? Well, the harvest's in.
Time for an extra.
Huh? You eat my noodles?
If you want to get close, get fresh with Wrigley's Extra.
If he can find the back of the net with this shot, the cup is there. What must be going through that young man's head, young man's head, young man's head. Will he be going home to a hero's welcome tonight?
What drives you? Is it speed? Is it danger? Is it victory? Sky Movies Max presents a season of adrenaline-fueled movies, guaranteed to get your motor running. With Sylvester Stallone in the premiere of Driven, Good Friday at 8, part of the Full Throttle season on Sky Movies Max.
Another round of fixtures in the Super League coming up over the bank holiday. Easter Monday evening, we're at Nosey Road, the home of the champions, for the visit of the Warrington Wolves. And then Tuesday at 8, it's Wakefield against Widnes from Bellevue, live from 8 on Sky Sports 1. St Helens, well, he has this wonderful knack in Millwood of producing a video of the first half highlights and lowlights. And he's just pointing out one or two other bits and pieces that he wants St Helens to deal with in the second 40 in Millwood. TV show's over, but not on Sky Sports. We've got another 40 minutes to go. And this is the way it looks at the break, 22 points to 12. St Helens, the champions, ahead by 10. Any hope for them, Steve-O, in the second half, the Wigan Warriors?
Well, I think you'd have to say that they'd have to score first to try to just jolt this St Helens side, who must feel pretty confident. They bounced back, didn't they, when it looked as though Wigan had go in at half-time, just only 6 points in arrears. But you see there that the breaks, well, it's overwhelming, isn't it? 10-2, and the runs from dummy half, surprisingly, in favour of the Wigan side. And that's been the good work from Terry Newton. It's been hard work, hasn't it, by the Wigan side. They scramble back several times, especially in the opening 15 minutes, and I think that may be the turning point, was the fact that they may run out of gas in the final quarter.
Well, both of them, of course, coming in to this match on the back of big semi-finals last weekend, which they both lost. For Wigan, it was their first defeat at the semi-final stage for fully 35 years. And St Helens, they had the 100 minutes, of course, against the Leeds Rhinos, so fitness will be the key, but Saints have had the extra day to prepare for this. And as I say now, for both these sides, it's blinkers on, grand final, October. That is the target. By the way, just mentioning the Cardiff occasion next week, the Rugby Football League have asked us to tell you that there are tickets still available for the event underneath the roof at the Millennium Stadium. And of course we have highlights of the final, Sky Sports 3 next weekend, 8 o'clock on Sky Sports 3. It's on Saturday the 26th. Saturday the 26th, just to confirm, Sky Sports 3 for the final highlights. Rhinos and the Bulls.
A bit of composure is needed now by the Warriors. Not to rush, just settle things down.
Mark Smith was looking for support there. There was none forthcoming. He took a big hit as well from Stuart Jones. Groggily gets to his feet. Lamb, a stab over the top. Oh, it's a poor kick right down the throat of Paul Wellens.
Well, not only poor, it looked a tired attempt as well.
And the chase, well, I know they have to give him 10 metres, but the chase didn't look terribly enthusiastic either. Wonder what was said in those changing rooms, half-times. Bill.
Well, the Wigan Warriors coach Stuart Raper really proud of the effort put in by his patched-up side, and he knows that they're going to be under a lot of pressure in this second half, but just hoping that really they can stick with Saints. If they can stay close to them, then maybe, just maybe, they can pull off a surprise here, but he knows it's going to be a tall order. Ian Millward's concern really is that his side don't drop off. He says they've got to go the full 80 minutes. The temptation might be just to take the foot off the gas, knowing that they've got this game won. Well, he doesn't want to see that. He wants them to go the whole way and to really give it to this Wigan side.
Yes, there is little love lost on an occasion like this. But, you know, I wonder what Wigan would give to have Andrew Farrell back in the side. He's still a couple of weeks away from full match fitness. It's been a devil of an injury for him, knee problem.
The big problem for this Wigan outfit, if they lose here, is that they go out of the top six and they could be having to play catch-up all the way through the season.
Good kick downfield, this by Lamb. That was much better. It turned Darren Albert around. Albert fishes the ball inside to Wellens. Good chase there from Wigan. Much more enthusiastic, that.
Yeah, a lot better.
Mark Roberts leading the way with Terry Newton. And Whittle has gone off at the start of this second half. Maybe a little bit too much of a risk for Stuart Raper. Sculthorpe with a kick through. That's not a great kick from Sculthorpe. Carney will come back at them. Just talking about that Andrew Farrell situation, I understand, Phil Clark, that Wigan supporters were asking you if you've brought your boots today.
Not much chance of that. They are, exactly, yes. You know, going back though to the point that Steve-O made, if Wigan do lose here today, it's unlikely, I would say, even at this early stage, that they'll have the chance to finish in the first or second spot, which is what teams have needed to do to actually win the grand final. However, sooner or later, some team are going to come from 4th or 5th and actually go all the way to Old Trafford and win it. Maybe with Wigan and Farrell back in the side, they could be the team that did that.
Well, talking of Andrew Farrell, Boots and All special on Wednesday is the Andy Farrell story, the story of an ultimate warrior. Oh, Lamb might have been taken out there.
No, he says, the official. He looked at both touch judges. It seemed as though it was impeded. Good kick as well. There was no one at home.
Oh, well, it might actually have been a collision with his own player there. Well, did Jones take him out?
It certainly was a charge there, but remember the rule states if you're running in the same direction, you can use your shoulder when chasing the ball. So good refereeing, and to be fair to Kirkpatrick, he did get confirmation from the two flag wavers. That's a good kick.
It is if it stays within the field of play, and it doesn't. It just bounced and bobbled its way over the line, munched by Kevin Brown. Well, I think he nudged Terry Newton there, and Newton hit Lamb.
Yeah,
So there's nothing in that.
Pinball machine job, both going the same way.
Mind you, that could have been interesting. When it hit the base of the post.
Well, they were very slow to react. It was quick thinking there by Adrian Lamb, because Paul Wellens was nowhere to be seen. They cannot just sit back, St Helens, and think that they're going to stand and let them take the 2 points.
Not when that fella's on the field, Lamb, and here is Briscoe, and Briscoe will score the first try of the second half. Briscoe for Wigan. Great try, engineered by Adrian Lamb. There are 2 and 3 players flat out behind that in cherry and white, but Lamb with the break, Briscoe with the support, and Briscoe with the try.
They got there in numbers, and what a good finish by the fullback, Sean Briscoe. I mentioned the fact they can't just sit back, and it was man of steel that certainly looked rusty there. Took the dummy, and the fullback knew that his momentum would get over. Just a neat dummy. Scully got caught. The youngsters were there in numbers. That is a great try. It's what they needed. The fans are behind them now, and maybe the seeds of doubts in the St Helens side, who perhaps were thinking there were going to be a walk-away in the second half. That will have shaken them right to their boots.
Well, he filled in at fullback last weekend when Radlinski went off. It's his 12th appearance today. And Sean Briscoe, his first try of the year. And Kieran Cunningham, we mentioned what would Wigan do to have Andrew Farrell out there. With all due respect to Mickey Hyam, who is filling in brilliantly for Kieran Cunningham, St Helens will be looking forward to the day when he returns to the fray. Danny Tickle then. Great applause around this ground for the Wigan side as they came back to take their places in their own half of the field, waiting for the kickoff. And the Wigan fans, and they are among the most discerning in the game, they will know that there is a great future lined up for this club. I just hope that the officials can be patient. Tickle adds the extras. It's 18-22. These young warriors will not go away.
There you see Sculthorpe going out wide, and Darren Britt very slow indeed to fill the gap. Only a half-hearted attempt, couldn't prevent the pass, and they had the numbers. What a good try. It's brought this game to life yet again. Now then, can Wigan concentrate? They've conceded 2 tries soon after they've scored, and it's a relief that they've taken that ball from the kickoff.
Well, Lachlan it was who tipped it inside to O'Connor. Carney waits. Here is Tickle.
It doesn't matter what age or whether you lack the experience, Eddie, when it comes to a derby game against these 2 foes.
Sculthorpe doing really well.
It's all about pride and looking at that badge and the name and the shirt and saying, come on. We may be the underdogs. Very rare to say they're going to be the underdogs when you're playing at home. And look at this.
They're high on confidence. Here is Lamb, engineer-in-chief. Good kick down the line. And it will just run dead in goal. But he was looking for the speed out wide. He will be so encouraged by this.
Well, he's had a slow start to the season, Adrian Lamb. He was absolutely scintillating last year. And we can see quite clearly that he's stepped up a couple of gears in this second half.
And Stuart Raper on the walkie-talkie down to Dennis Betts, first lieutenant down on the pitch side. This is Darren Britt for St Helens, 40 metres away from his own line. Long, a dab over the top, well gathered in, very well gathered in by Aspinwall.
Neat little effort, and he did well, he read it well. Well, as the clock is ticking away, the confidence is growing. The youngsters are eager, they want to get into it, but leading the way is this fella.
Gets to his feet eventually. Here is O'Loughlin. Ball went backwards off Aspinwall. Play on. Here is the try scorer Briscoe. And Wigan are growing in confidence. Newton. Here now is Sculthorpe.
What a
offside, Wigan. St Helens.
Why didn't he play the advantage? Well, Stuart Raper, and I have to agree with him. Why on earth did he stop that when they were in full flow? Superb offload. Well, they've got to go for the 2, but they could have scored 6. All right, they're offside, but the offload was absolutely superb.
Well, it looked for a moment as though he'd gone down. He'd blown as he thought the tackle was made. And he has to make a split-second decision.
Yeah, but he's got to make contact first. This is not touch football. He's furious. Wonderful work. Super stuff. Sculthorpe offloaded. You can't stop a game like that. They had the numbers out wide. 4 on 2. And Paul Sculthorpe knows that they are very fortunate just to concede maybe the 2 rather than half a dozen.
Well, it's the Wigan supporters who are singing, even though their team is behind. But there is a couple of points on offer here. And Wigan have got their tails up at the moment. Tickle then with this penalty. They're delighted. 20-22.
And they've every right to be. The underdogs are really taking it to the Saints now. Unbelievable turnaround. He's had a big game. Joint on the sidelines. No doubt he'll be brought back into the fray. But the biggest problem for Saints at the moment, they cannot get the football. But much better performance by this Wigan outfit. The kicking game has improved, and so has the chase. And the support play has been outstanding.
Brian Carney just steps out in the tackling. And again.
Well, someone will realise that the things that hang around his waist are called legs.
The Wigan supporters on its feet. Here's another break. Lamb is on his inside. Adrian Lamb. Out wide it goes. And again forward. And that's the chance for Kevin Brown. Kevin Brown, if he'd have taken that in, it might have been a forward pass. But listen to the Wigan crowd.
All brought about by the big run. Sculthorpe's having a stormer, and I must also say the support play, but it was all brought about by a wonderful effort by Brian Carney, but it just was an awful pass at the end. Well, they're ripping Saints apart. You can't blame the youngster, and this is what it means to a coach that knows that they've got big problems injury-wise here.
Oh, and then O'Loughlin concedes the penalty as Sculthorpe was trying to get to his feet, and the pressure eases momentarily.
Yeah, silly penalty. You can see Sculthorpe wanted to get on with it. That proves the point that I was making. Saints just can't get this football.
They've got it now, though. That was not played properly. That's going to be a penalty to Wigan.
Well, he won't be impressed, Ian Millwall, because I think Uncas has got a case to say that there was a man all over him, and there was. Sculthorpe grabbed at him, and he's still grabbing at him.
Well, the tension eased for a moment, and now It's back again, and Wigan have the chance. Newton, Lamb, short ball, Craig Smith. Look at this. That's overall. Wigan really have lifted start of this second half. Remember, they weren't inside St Helens half for the opening 10 minutes of this match. Craig Smith battling away, 6 metres short of the line. Lamb, there's the general, O'Loughlin.
Well, Ian Millwood, the Saints coach, got to get the message out. You've got to start tackling the legs. You're going far too high, and they're going to pay the price if they don't sort it out.
Darting run from Aspinwall. Newton, here's Lamb again. Lamb with a dab to the in-goal area, and Wellens has to take it over the line.
Briscoe was scheming through. It's been the Adrian Lamb show so far. His kicking was poor in the first half, not in the second stanza.
Well, the Wigan fans probably came here and thought they would be on the end of a hiding. Such inexperience in the Wigan ranks, but Stuart Raper has conjured something up here that is quite remarkable.
Well, 10 points adrift, and now they're only 2 points behind. What an effort.
And they look the fresher. Here is Danny Tickle on an angled run.
You're right there, Eddie. The Saints defence, they're hanging back now. We saw it from Wigan about 10 minutes before half-time. But it's Lamb that is conjuring up everything out there. He's eager. He wants it. First man, give it to me. Let me control it. Youngsters, you follow me.
Great break again. Big hit it was on Mark Smith by Barry Ward.
It had to be as well. That was try time.
Newton. And there's a bit of a punch-up between Ward and Mark Smith in the background as they get up and play the ball again. Here is Lamb. Crossfield kick. Claimed by Gardner, but only on the second attempt.
Oh, that's a big call from the official.
No, he's got it right.
Gardner, was he facing his own sticks? He twisted as he went into the air. It'll be interesting. Well, I thought that went behind him.
Yeah, he's going forward, the ball's going forward, Stephen.
The momentum rule when it comes to the kick again. Pressure, pressure.
Well, more pressure here for St Helens as Lamb fires the ball to O'Loughlin. It goes wide to Aspinwall. Briscoe. The ball, Craig Smith on the charge.
Where's the defence?
It got there eventually. Newton. O'Connor!
Oh, what a tackle. That's much better.
Newton again. Lamb. Lamb with a drop of the shoulder. Good job that Hyam got to him. Here's Newton. He scored! Wigan take the lead.
He'll go to the screen.
I don't know what for.
He just wants to see how we got it down, but I think it's okay.
He must have been unsighted.
He's reaching out. Sculthorpe did everything he could to try to dislodge it. No problem with that. Mr. Newton, stand up. Take a bow. This is a wonderful effort. I think they'll give this. This will be Chiawai. Looks from a different angle. I think that's okay. Well, he started it all, didn't he? After Albert had put Saints in the front, it was Newton run from dummy half, and I think he's done it again. This will be Chiawai, and listen to this crowd. Remember, 10 points adrift at half-time. Even the Wigan fans thought, can we just keep Saints down to a respectable score? Never mind that.
Yes! They're ahead. Second try for Terry Newton. Great effort from the hooker. St Helens looked tired.
He did very well there. He did absolutely superb there. He used the referee. Excellent stuff. And every
I don't think he can even believe this.
Wonderful stuff there. They can't believe it. the Saints fans, they are absolutely stunned. And Ian Millwood knows that his side will have to struggle and show their mettle to bounce back. It was all smiles in the first half. And he's played his part, this young fella.
Well, there are times when the word remarkable is overused in sport. But what we've seen this weekend in the Tetley Super League so far has been doubly remarkable. Danny Tickle then. And the powwow is on behind the St. Helens posts. Tickle. Just trying to drift it over the bar. 24-22, but perhaps crucially, Wigan hold the advantage.
This shows you how crafty the hookers are these days. Look at him run to the referee and then sneaks away. He was the man that was shepherding, and Newton knew it. Second try. He bags a pair.
Glum faces up the other end. St. Helens fans perplexed. Wigan ahead for the first time. Quarter of the game to go. Clarkey, as an old Wiganer, this must be doing you the power of good.
Well, it's a supercharged effort from the Wigan side in the second half, and it was important that they got some points, because the one thing you know if you've followed St. Helens over the last few years, they never lack confidence, and there's no question about the belief that they can come from behind in a game. Wigan put those points on, and Wigan need to maintain this quick momentum, try and play it as quickly as they can, and really just go with the roll and ride the luck as it is at the moment, because I'm telling you, there'll be a time when St. Helens get possession and they'll be pressing on the Wigan line in the remaining quarter.
Clarkey, we made the indication before this game that the experienced players in Wigan had to stand up. Lamb especially in the second half, but Terry Newton, he's just worked tirelessly, hasn't he?
He has too. Terry O'Connor, Craig Smith, they've taken it forward, and the young lads have just gone on with that. We've got a player there in the second row, Mark Roberts, not the biggest player in the Super League. If you have to describe him as a playing card, I call him the King of Hearts, as nobody gets stuck in more than he does.
When you think what St. Helens did to Bradford on the opening weekend, what they did to Castleford at Knowsley Road.
Oh, it's not over yet, Eddie, don't worry.
No, it isn't, but you do have to wonder what's happened to them lately.
Well, Saints haven't had much of the possession, and they're not going to get it either now. They took the risk.
What on earth has happened to St. Helens, though, Steve-O, over the past month?
Passes like that don't help. Look,
yeah, but 4 weeks ago they were sticking.
I know, but full credit to this Wigan outfit in that they've come out, they've got into their faces, they've forced the adder, they've had all the possession. The kicking game has been superb. It was a strain that first half. And as I say, Newton sneaking over, just steadying the ship. The young kids building in confidence. And don't worry, they'll be having plenty to say to the St. Helens players. Look at the scoreboard, they'll be saying.
Good run from Aspinwall. Oh, he's lost that.
Oh, that's a shame.
It was a big hit, that.
Well, I just give them the mocker, haven't I? I just said to the fact that they're confident in taking the ball through. Was it reefed out by Smith? But it will have been 2-on-1. Difficult, though, for the official. He's played his part. This is so exciting.
Do you know this is the second anniversary almost of Stuart Raper's coaching reign here at Wigan? It comes up next month. He knows he's in the most demanding job in the Super League. But boy, when you think what's to come over the next couple of years, well, the Wigan club's in good heart.
To be fair, Eddie, you never take a pension out at Wigan, do you? Never there long enough, but Saints have to just steady the ship a little bit now. Just roll up the sleeves. Runs like this from Hyam.
Yes, great run from Nicky Hyam. Oh, and a good offload too to Long. The momentum suddenly with Saints. Here's Yonkers.
Good defence. Went high though. Aspinwall certainly went for the face.
Here's Edmondson.
This is spicing up now.
Last tackle.
Got to be the kick to the corner.
Long on the bounce. Gleeson wide. Great defence.
Super stuff. Put his body on the line, Sean Briscoe, and he's hurt. Message down to the sideline. Calm, cool, collected Ian Millwood. Knows there's still plenty of time. These youngsters have played their part. Look how they got across there. Just throws his body, does Briscoe. Wow. Straight in.
And Albert got a knee in the side of the head as well.
It's getting very tasty out there. Oh, right in the face, Edmondson.
He's flat out. Here comes O'Connor. Well, you think this is good? Look what we've got coming up for you. Friday the 2nd of May. 2 weeks today. 7:30, Sky Sports 1. Wigan against the Bulls. Followed by Warrington Widnes on the Saturday. Followed by Bank Holiday Monday, Castleford Hull. Followed by Tuesday, Leeds Wigan. Wow! Off the legs of the Saints player. Did he play for it?
No.
The touch judge has his flag up. The referee will have a word.
Last tackle, hand over.
Last tackle, it's the turnover.
Well, the touch judge got it right. The ball played the man. Nothing he could do about that. He tried to get out of the way of it, didn't he? Hooper just caught him with his legs.
Aidy Gardner bounces off Newton.
You mentioned the fact that what's happened to St. Helens, Eddie. It's hard to say that one man does make a difference, but we're not seeing the best from Sculthorpe. When Sculthorpe is on song, St. Helens are.
Long delayed the pass. Yonkers back to Long. Hauled down by a combination of Aspinwall and Craig Smith. Darren Smith. Mark Edmondson now. Great defence. Newton again. Hyam. Long on the charge. Sculthorpe. Flick pass. That'll be Wiggins.
It certainly is.
And that is Kevin Brown.
Young Brown got to it, took the gamble. This is the pass from Long. Look forward for mine. Yonkers didn't mind, went through, pulled it out, down on the feet. Both sides, they've given it all, haven't they?
They have, and they've served up a treat, and it's not over yet.
He's had a big influence in O'Carney. He's done the work. That's what it means to a coach when you're behind, when you blow the opportunity.
Ian Millwood said this week that he's not terribly worried the fact that they've lost 3 in a row prior to this. They were still creating the opportunities. Stuart Raper's on his way down traditionally to the touchline.
Well, they're going down like flies. This has been one wonderful effort.
Mark Roberts on his debut.
He took a
heavy knock.
Sure did. They put their bodies on the line with these young kids. But full credit to the Wigan senior players.
Albert is tackled wide by young Kevin Brown. And again,
look at the
Long. They're respected of nobody's reputation, this lot.
Well, this Kevin Brown, what would he weigh? 9 stone at the most, Eddie.
Dripping wet.
Yeah. I keep looking for the braces to hold his school pants up. I mean, but he's there, getting in the face. He's doing his effort. Oh, that was close to a forward as well. Do you know, there's been so many in this game.
Sculthorpe, high kick out wide. Tester here for Carney and co. The Irishman wins it. Well, they're playing the games of their lives, the Wigan lads.
Well, how they got that out of all that melee is anybody's guess. He's been wonderful as Carney today.
This is Brown.
Look at that confidence. Turning, twisting in the tackle. Come on, support me. 17-13 from dummy half.
Terry Newton's had a big influence, hasn't he?
Has he ever? 2 tries. Not bad either.
O'Connor.
Basic football. It has to be a good kick and chase.
Terry's hurt.
No, he's tired.
Lamb. Woof. Downfield.
Poor. And when he kick. It's amazing how the opposition will get back into the 30 mark, which means when it comes to their chance to kick, they'll be forcing the opposition back down into their own quarter.
Chris Joyce thought of the offload, but absolutely harassed by 3 Wigan defenders. Dave Allen was one of them. Terry O'Connor was another. Britt. Darren Britt still, but hauled down by Danny Sculthorpe. He is long. A dab over the top and a chase for Hooper. Carney is after it. Carney with work to do, and the Irishman does it with ease.
Super stuff. Good kick from long. Carney read it.
The champions are staring down the barrel of 4 defeats on the bounce.
And most importantly, Wigan know that a win today, the 2 points, will keep them in that top 6. Basic football from Wigan now.
They haven't lost 4 in a row, St Helens, since 1994. You don't want to count your chickens, but, Phil, this could be the day.
Well, I think we can't underestimate just how much that extra time semi-final must have taken out of both Leeds and St Helens. They've been far below the best from what we've seen. But you know, over the last 5 or 10 minutes, they've played the majority of the game in the type of the part of the field that they'd be most happy. Better kick there now from Lamb to put pressure on the Wigan side, and Wigan have played well. There's just an enthusiasm generating from the fans into the players on the pitch, and it's keeping them going, but they're going to have to be at the best here to withstand what Saints' onslaught will be for the final 10 minutes.
I know what you're saying, Phil, you're absolutely right, but let's not forget that Wigan also played in a semi-final, and to use your words on boots and all on Wednesday night, they were beaten up by Bradford.
Yeah, that's true.
But you always get the impression, Phil, that as we saw last night, Leeds still had the power to pull it out. Okay, it was only 1 point, but Saints aren't out of this one either.
They've got the pace to pull it out. I don't know whether they've got the power, and it'll be the pace that will tell.
This is the last tackle, this set of 6. Here's Long. Hoists it up underneath the post. Great kick, but that's going to be diffused. No, it isn't. Oh, dear. Young Kevin Brown couldn't take that in. Had he taken it in, it would have been a tap on the 20. It came out of the sun, he says. But
well, he did.
What a fresh-faced young man this is. How old is he?
He got it all wrong, though, didn't he?
He's 18. He did get it all wrong.
Well, I hope he's got an ID, because I wouldn't let him into a pub.
At 18 and playing this game, he shouldn't want to be in a pub.
All right, he's come up with a mistake, but he's absolutely been superb. They all have.
It's been an heroic effort, this, by Wigan. Can St Helens get back to the script that we know that they write so well? They're looking for it. Here is Hyam. Briscoe with a great tackle.
Superb. That's got to be a penalty.
The referee moved forward then, and the Wigan line was 4 yards away from the play of the ball. Here is Long. Long!
Post stopped him.
Still waddling the post. Hyam back to Hooper. Well, they want to be heroes all, but what a tackle from Lamb. Anthony Stewart. Tim Yonkers. No, I thought it stretched out.
He was trying Lamb yet again. Put your bodies on the line, boys.
Long with the kick.
That'll be the knock-on.
Smith with the knock-on.
But I must say, Ian Millward will be wanting to find out from the referee why they allowed him to stand up and play the ball when there was an infringement. Remember, there's only 2 points in it. They would have gone for the ball. Now that was a second attempt. That is a penalty. In fact, that is a sin bin offence.
And the referee marched forward 3 or 4 metres and allowed them to play the ball.
Whereas he stopped Wigan the opportunity, remember, and given the penalty earlier.
What an effort from these 2 sides. It's a really warm afternoon, remember. Lamb, it's been at the heart of it. But these youngsters, what a pass that was from Brown.
Pushing people out of the way, get the dummy half.
Lamb clattered by Albert.
Rush to the post, is it going to be a kick? Yes, it is from Newton, not a good one, they'll let it go over. Oh,
No,
will
won't.
they?
Long has it. Here is Anthony Stewart.
Oh, he's got to
Bit
go for
high,
that.
breaks. No, it was a Danny Sculthorpe. It was just an instinctive grab.
Yeah?
The referee, I think, got it right. He says it's just a lazy one.
Oh. Is he collecting ears now?
Oh, they've not found touch.
Can't believe
Saints
that.
haven't found touch.
Cannot believe it. The champions.
They're wobbling.
Yep.
And Wigan are prepared to take the gamble here.
Oh, he's lost it.
And Saints have it back.
What a time to come up with an error.
Here's Darren Britt.
You know, both sides have just run themselves to a standstill.
Well, Wigan have got Monday off because Leeds will not be expected to play in Cup final week. St Helens, they play Warrington on Sky Sports Monday night. Paul Cullen will be rubbing his hands.
He's a man that can change it. Mickey Hyam. Oh, bit of a facial there.
Craig Smith all over the top. Sculthorpe to Long. On the burst is Anthony Stewart. Clattered to the ground. Sculthorpe. Here's Long. Not happening for St Helens. Just not happening. Darren Smith retains possession.
Aggression. The power in defence.
Gardner. Away from O'Connor. Away from another.
He's made some searching runs as this fella, but they've always been able to get back at the vital moment.
Sculthorpe, short ball.
Oh, what a great effort.
Chance there for Stankovic.
They went on the power play. First real good offload from Sculthorpe. Stankovic storming onto it. But the defence yet again. This is like Custer's last stand. They're just throwing everything at them, the Saints. And Wigan are equal to the task.
And what's more, they're looking pretty venomous when they have the ball in hand, Wigan.
Just played out. And the man with the football knows exactly that's all they need to do. The seconds are ticking away. Saints are getting near to the point where they've just got to take a risk with everything. Go for the intercept. It's that type of game.
Here's Terry Newton. Huge influence, as has this fellow. Lamb. Kick over the top. Stewart there.
Good
but
kick as
from
well.
his own try line.
Come here, says this little fella.
Kevin Brown again. Gardner.
I'll tell you what, this Kevin Brown, he may not win the man of the match, but I'm going to buy him a watch.
There's a big call. Paul goes for it.
He's given a penalty.
Penalty's given. No, said it's a knock-on.
Oh, swinging arm is getting a bit tasty. Paul Johnson.
Saints knock on. Saints knock on.
Sean Briscoe's down in the background. Well, it's a big call yet again. The young fella wanted it.
Well, it should have been play on, but I think immediately after that, Wigan also knocked on.
Yeah.
The noise inside the JJB Stadium's deafening. And it's all coming from the Wigan fans.
Terry Newton comes to the sideline. What an effort he's had. He's been outstanding. Will they go for the 1 point? Will they just settle the nerves?
I don't think that's in Wigan's vocabulary on a day like this. 1 point. They want a few more.
Well, they're going towards the sticks. Mr. Lamb might have other ideas.
O'Connor. Heroes all in cherry and white. St Helens started like men possessed.
Well, Adrian Lamb is screaming for the football, so it should be a long ball from the dummy half.
If O'Connor can get to his feet. Mark Smith. O'Loughlin, off the chest.
Lock on. Crowd
Go to the
fingers
screen,
crossed.
says Brian Carney. Well, there's only 2 points in it. That looked like it came off his head accidentally.
Well,
no, maybe not.
Yeah, got a fingertip to it. Is there going to be another twist in this Good Friday turn? Anxious moments.
He knows he's on the verge of arguably one of his greatest victories. He was mighty relaxed when we spoke to him before the match, Stuart Raper.
Yep.
And I don't think he can believe what he's seen. He knows the players that are out there have got bags of talent.
Well, if these Wigan fans don't stand up at the end of this game...
They're on their feet now, Stephen. They're going potty. They've got to score from deep.
Oh, no, they've got the numbers.
They might do. Johnson with the tackle on Albert. Entering the last minute, just 2 points in it. What a match. Leeds and Castleford last night set the benchmark. These two have lifted it even further. What a game.
Got to make sure, Wigan, they don't give away a silly penalty and allow Saints another set of 6.
Oh, I think they might go for the 2 points on offer if they got a penalty now. Hyam!
He went for him. He went for him to try to get the penalty. He's screaming at the official.
Sculthorpe. Into touch. Wigan are going to win this. Wigan are going to win this. And Ian Millwood's men have lost 4 in a row.
They had to take the gamble. They knew that seconds was ticking away, and this will go down as one of the most heroic efforts. Took the gamble, and it went over the sidelines. Stand up and enjoy it. It'll be runs from dummy half, surely. Don't take the chance.
Adrian Lamb. 15 seconds to go. Wigan are counting down to a wonderful, wonderful win.
Listen to the crowd, they know Mr. O'Connor's tired. Is that a surprise? They've done it!
This tackle will mean it's all over. A famous Wigan win! Look what it means to Mike Gregory and Stuart Raper. Look what it means to these fresh-faced youngsters and these old boilers. Fantastic for Wigan.
Old boys?
Well, there's some old boys out there.
Don't look at me.
And boy, have they lifted.
What a game.
Look at Stuart Raper. He's round every one of them, and so he should be. 7 wins and 3 defeats for Stuart Raper in derby matches against St Helens. He has got the wood on Ian Millwood.
And remember, Eddie, Wigan had 4 debutantes today, and they have pulled together.
Well, Briscoe's 20, Whittle's 20, Aspinall 21, O'Loughlin 20. Going down the list, Bybee, who hardly appeared, 21. Tickle 20, Smith 20, Allen, Brown and Roberts, all teenagers. This fella's a bit older. What a day for him. Stewie Raper, he's with Bill.
Stuart, you've known some great games in your career, but I suppose on the scale of things, this must rank as one of the best just because you were up against it.
This is without doubt the best win I've ever been involved with. Challenge Cup was great, but we were full of players. I've never had a week like it. We had so many injuries. The young kids have done us so proud. I can't speak enough for these guys. It's all them, you know. I couldn't do much this week, you know. We're just trying to patch them up again of mine. Got to give a big rap to our physio, Alan Tomlinson, who's just been working overtime, and I'm just so proud of him. You know, we're back now, thank goodness.
You surely cannot believe that you pulled this off.
Well, belief is there. Those blokes got the belief. I always had it in them. It's always going to be tough. There's always a doubt in your mind. But when they show spirit, they did, and they execute. Don't get any better.
I mean, it's a cliche, but I mean, these guys have grown up in the course of 18 minutes, haven't they?
They have, and this experience will be great for us, and great for them, and we've got to learn from these things. There's a few things we didn't do too well, we hung in, but the spirit in this club is, you know, which people have doubted in the past, is so fantastic. It's got us through today and get a few troops back and, you know, we can just get better.
Hey, they're going to have to win their places back now, aren't they?
Exactly right. They've got to try to house some of the young kids.
Thanks, Joe. Well done.
Thanks, Bill.
The greatest day of Stuart Raper's coaching career. You heard it from the man himself. Wonderful stuff. And I rather think, you know, there are a few Wigan supporters who are watching this at home and in the pubs and clubs around Wigan because they quite frankly didn't believe that this could happen. Well, maybe next time they'll come down and have the belief. A magnificent Wigan win.
Tomorrow, it's the Scottish Cup semi-final. And Rangers are bang on course for the treble. The Scottish Cup semi-final, Rangers v Motherwell, tomorrow midday, Sky Sports 1.
Do you see the football last night? The striker did a googly, leaving him 1 under par. Brilliant. Oh, can I have a bit of your Yorkie?
Not even close.
Yorkie, it's not for girls.
Looking for even cheaper car insurance? Then try elephant.co.uk. It's simple, it's easy, it's fast. Is that it? Isn't this a 30-second ad?
Set up for the dance routine. 1, 2.
So check out elephant.co.uk now. It's simple, it's easy, it's fast. It's elephant.co.uk. Remember, elephant.co.uk. Check it out.
Join the rush. It's time to move to the new Lloyds TSB current account. At up to 3.2%, you won't find a better rate on the high street. Call us.
Can clean 7.6 square meters. I wonder if one of these new flash pads could do the whole floor. No. Let's have a little wager then. If it does, you buy me dinner.
And if it doesn't, you buy me dinner.
Right.
Bet your wallet.
New Flash Express Extra are triple layered pads that hold loads of liquid, so they clean up to 3 times more than a wipe. I'm starving. Taxi's here!
Need a hand, mate?
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Then join the AA.
Why didn't I join the AA? I thought I'd save the money. I wanted to buy these jeans.
You can join the AA from as little as £39, about the price of those jeans, and they fix around 8 out of 10 cars at the roadside. Call 0800 444 999. Just ask.
To prove this person is not an actor, he will attempt a scene from a famous movie.
I am Decimus Meridus Maximus. Husband.
Clearly not an actor. So, tell us about BT Broadband.
It makes watching movie trailers a joy, really. You can just click on the broadband link, practically fills the whole screen, and actually, if the site's of a decent speed, you can just watch in real time. You don't actually have to wait for it to download. You can just click on the link and watch it.
Broadband your horizons. To connect for free, call 0800 800 060.
If you've been refused credit for a car, there's lots of companies that can help. Trouble is, once you've signed an agreement with them, you could be locked in. Fortunately, Yes Car Credit are completely different. Because we're so confident you'll be pleased with your car and credit agreement, we'll give you a whole week to make sure you're 100% satisfied. Yes. And if you're not, simply bring back the car, we'll cancel the finance agreement with no interest and no penalties, which means you've got nothing to lose. To arrange a visit to one of our showrooms nationwide, call free on 0800 085 6600 or click on yescarcredit.net. We're waiting to say yes.
British Superbikes are back on Sky Sports, and they haven't come quietly. Round 3 from Thruxton, Sunday at 1, live only on Sky Sports 2.
Well, pinch yourselves, Wigan fans. Just take a look at this scoreline, 24 points to 22. They have beaten the champions with a team made up of at least 4 debutants and a whole host of them in teenagers. Well, Kevin Brown is one young man who will remember this day for the rest of his life. He's not the man of the match, but Steve-O's promised to buy him a watch because he's done so well. He's talking here to Bill.
Eddie, I can remember commentating on Academy games featuring Kevin Brown last season, and probably the season before, but you surely kind of expected it to come around this fast, a game like this.
Oh, it's sensational. I just thank Stuart for putting me in such a big game. I'm from St Helens, and I couldn't think of a better feeling to beat my hometown club. It's brilliant.
Your mum and dad were here watching. What are they going to make of it?
Oh, they'll be so proud. I love you, Mum. Everything. They'll be upstairs now, and she'll be crying. She'll be in tears. So.
Well, what were those closing minutes like? When, I mean, because you know that Saints are the masters of pinching it right at the death. What were you thinking then?
Well, ever since I've been a kid, I've been used to watching Saints pull it out at the last 5 minutes, and I was just praying and playing my hardest, so we didn't let it slip like that. I think every single 1 to 17 today were brilliant, and I just thought we can do it for the rest of the season. I think the side's come now. So.
Brett Dallas probably some way off fitness. You're going to keep him out now?
Well, I hope so. That's the second time I've played on the wing. That so. I'll ask him a few tips and that, so.
Well, Terry Newton, I think, got man of the match, but apparently Steve-O has volunteered to present you with a watch yourself on his own generosity, I have to say. So what do you say to that? You take him up on the offer, presumably.
Yeah. Cheers, Steve-O. I've been watching you for about 30 years now, so.
Kevin, well done.
Thanks, Bill. Cheers.
Well, look what it meant to Kevin Brown and his family. Fantastic moment for the young man. Well, he's been watching Steve-O for 30 years. I make it here that he's 18 years of age.
Listen, he epitomised everything that's about the youthfulness of rugby league, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. He spoke superb, didn't he? You know, emotion, about his family. That's what it's all about. That's why it's such a great game. And it is a family game. But you've got to take it out of these young kids who will run around with, as Eddie said, the old boilers. How many?
Well,
Terry O'Connor, I think you was referring to.
I just got a glimpse of one of the youngsters actually loving the neck off Terry O'Connor at the end, and I apologise to Terry. He's not an old boiler, but I'm sure he knows what I mean.
It certainly did. But it was just a tremendous game, and it's a wonderful lift. And I think that, you know, when I saw so many Wigan fans come today, when they were underdogs, and a lot of people, as you mentioned, they'll be in the pubs and the clubs who are saying, well, what's the point of going to watch it? You have missed a classic. The atmosphere here was just something sensational.
It was. The Wigan fans will remember this. St Helens, well, I don't know. Maybe the inquest will begin about what is going wrong for them at the moment. That it's not a day to look about what's gone wrong. It's what's gone right for Wigan. And Terry Newton has won the Tissot watch as the man of the match. Here is the man of the match interview now, and he's with Bill.
Terry, congratulations on the man of a match, and it was a pretty extraordinary match, wasn't it? There you go.
Yeah, thanks to Tissot. Yeah, we've trained hard all week, you know, our backs were against the wall, and we've come away good winners there.
Did you think the kids could pull it off?
Of course can. These kids what are coming in, you know, the cream of the crop, and things are only going to get better now. They're going to get better with experience, and we'll just kick on from here.
What were those closing minutes like? I mean, Saints are the masters at pinching it right at the end. What were you thinking then?
Just hang on, you know what I mean, defend well, take the ball forward and swerve the clock down, and I thought we did it very well.
All the best, Terry. Well done.
Thanks, Tissot. Cheers.
Well, the one thing that Stuart Raper might have forgotten just at this point in time in the euphoria of the victory is the fact that St Helens were kept pointless in the second half. They've turned around a 10-point deficit in the second half, Steve-O, to win the match, and they've kept St Helens scoreless. That's wonderful stuff.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's an example of the matter of the pressure, the kick, and the chase. It wasn't good in the first half. Adrian Lamb was very, very quiet in the first 40, but boy, oh boy, he was a different man in the second stanza. Through the dummy, there's nothing you'll see Sculthorpe stood up like that. And I mean, they just came in numbers. They were falling down all over the place. They looked tired, Wigan. 10 minutes before the half-time break, whatever was said at half-time by Mr. Raper certainly lifted them. And what a talent this fullback is, Briscoe. But look how Newton uses the referee there. That's experience. He led by example. And there's another old boiler that certainly did his job. 2 wonderful tries, and they just steadied the ship, and it's just an amazing how it just crept through, nice and steady. The momentum. And Saints couldn't get the football, and without the football, we all know one thing: we can't win a game.
And they didn't win a game. There's 2 old boilers up here in the studio as well. Let's go down to a young chick on the sideline. Clarkey, fantastic match. A great day for Wigan.
Yeah, it's very rare that they go into a derby game as underdogs, especially playing at home. And I've been seeing a Wigan fan here for over 30 years who said it's the most emotional he's ever been after any match. You just can't believe it. And maybe this match might just kickstart Wigan's success really to this season. They've stuttered in the early part of it, but a win like that will just be such a boost to the club. You know, the young players blended so well with the old players, and I think that the combination really of the two was really the key factor in them winning here today. There's an energy created, and one of the things that I like to look at in sport, and especially in rugby league, is how people respond to things that go on. Wigan conceded a bad try just before half-time, and yet, if anything, they came out energised by that and determined to kick on in the second half, which is exactly what they did. The senior players in Newton, Carney and Lamb led from the front, and they also got the enthusiasm and the ability to do anything, roll up the sleeves, get involved with some hard work from all the young players, and that blended so well for them.
I must say, Clarkey, that Paul Sculthorpe, they did a good job on him. They've kept him very, very quiet. I just get the impression that when Sculthorpe doesn't play, St Helens don't.
It was a very, very quiet performance from Paul Sculthorpe. Sean Long not either at his best as well, and they managed to do the best just to contain Mickey Hyam as well. We've seen how dangerous he can be when he darts away from acting halfback. But I just think the feeling inside the stadium, really close to the sidelines, and the substitutes around here from the Wigan side, was that there was no way they were going to allow St Helens to win here. This was going to be their day, and possibly the start to a successful campaign in the Tetley Super League 8.
Indeed so. I think Bill is now with a very happy club captain from Wigan, Andy Farrell. He's just joined Bill on the sideline, I believe.
Andy's just emerged from that Wigan dressing room. What's it like in there?
Oh, there's a few battered bodies, but they're not too sore at the minute. That was a fantastic win. That for the backs against the walls with the way the injury crisis has been over the last few weeks. That's got to go down as one of the best victories that this club's ever seen, definitely.
Well, can you believe it?
I can't, to be honest. And you know, before the game, I've been round the boxes with Dean Bell, and you know, we give a bit of talk before the game, and you know, you just ask for the best out of these young lads, and you know, everybody writes them off, but they believe in themselves, and they have done, and you know, there's some great young kids coming through. But you know, the amazing thing is they've not been able to train together all week, and with the short turnaround from the semi-final, they've just been fantastic. They've all stood up and thoroughly deserved the win.
And it just shows, I mean, what a great future there is for the club. I mean, they talk, you know, there's the salary cap problems. Julian O'Neill's, you know, a consequence of that. Gary Connolly, Dave Ferner left last season because of those. You know, the players are there, aren't they?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's funny, isn't it, that you know, a few bad losses and everybody writes us off, and then you know, a win like this, and everybody says, "What a rosy future we've got." You know, we've always known that we've got good kids, and they just needed a kickstart this year, and they've definitely done that now, and hopefully they'll have 2 weeks rest and lick the wounds and get back on with it.
Thanks, Andy.
Okay, mate, cheers.
Well said, Andy. Very proud young man, Andrew Farrell. And of course, next Wednesday we'll have a tribute to Andy Farrell, the ultimate warrior in the boots and all spot. So I hope you'll join us for that. Well, what on earth has happened to St Helens? Ian Millward is the coach. Bill will ask the question.
Ian, what's the verdict after that?
Close loss. You know, a couple of key areas that we've probably been very good in over the last previous months. You know, just got beaten the punch on a couple of areas, and you know, got a team that's played well, and you know, did all the right little things right. And at the end of the day, we weren't smooth, but it was definitely there for taking. You know, it would have been an exciting game on TV. I'm sure it would have been exciting and very hard. Must be our job now to make sure that the ratings are good on whichever game we're coverage.
Well, Ian, I mean, if you go back to the start of the season, you took Bradford to the Cleaners, and then you did the same job on Castleford Tigers. Yeah. But just things that were clicking in those games don't appear to be coming off now.
Yeah, if you look at it, if it's been over a full season, you'd be very, very concerned. If you look at it, our first 5 games were outstanding. If you look at Bradford, I thought Widnes were very, very good against Widnes. Cass were probably dynamite. Even Salford in the Challenge Cup quarterfinals. You know, there's outstanding performances. You know, we've got to be honest with ourselves. Our last 4 performances haven't been great. If you look at the semi-final, you know, there's a fine line between that being at Cardiff and not. But you know, the story is we're not, and we've been beaten their last 4 games, and we've got to be honest with ourselves and correct it.
Somebody's going to pay for it, aren't they?
Well, yeah, you'd like to think so, and history says that's the way we operate. But you know, the hard, cold facts are you know, the disappointing thing will be for Wigan is everyone will talk about we've lost 4 in a row and not probably give them the benefit that they've played very well today.
Thanks, Ian.
Okay, no worries.
Well, we've certainly not done that. We've given Wigan fulsome praise, and rightly so. A great day for the Wigan Warriors. And well done, Ian Millwood, for coming out to talk to us as well. Now then, lots more live action still to come today on Sky Sports. On Sky Sports 1 here next, live rugby union, Sale taking on Gloucester. From 5, a double bill of Football League, Ipswich against Portsmouth, followed by Reading and Forest. Over on Sky Sports 2, we've live